And I looked at her and I said, for the first time, I feel accepted in the Black community. I had never said something like that out loud. It's a welcome back to my channel. Things will be very different here. And it all started when I felt like an outsider at a Black Lives Matter protest in June of 2020. I'll share more about that here in a second. But on this channel relaunch, I'm gonna be unpacking childhood traumas, growing up in predominantly white spaces, being called an Oreo, being told you're not Black enough, code switching, white assimilated identities, and how all of that causes Black women to dim our light, causes anxiety, causes us to have imposter syndrome, and how it really affects our success, even though we know we were made for more and we feel super big inside. I'll share how all of this affects us on a subconscious level and how we have these programs running in the background that are basically controlling our lives, controlling the behaviors that we have, and how all of that is limiting to our success. But the good news is we can absolutely change all of that. If you've been following my channel at all last year, then you know that I was creating videos around law of attraction, manifestation, finding joy and meaning and fulfillment, just purpose in life. I was also sharing about anxiety, having negative thoughts, and how I was able to overcome that. I was sharing my journey as a physical therapist and feeling stifled at work. It was all wrapped around personal development and taking different aspects of my life and sharing that with you all, as well as my network marketing life and finding additional sources of income. But there was a moment of disconnect for me where, as I was producing these videos, being my authentic self, there was still a level of disconnect that I was feeling somewhere in the background, and I didn't know where that was coming from. So I took a step back in order to figure some things out, and it was really after that protest in June of 2020 where things got very clear for me. We are now in March of 2021, and I'm here to share with you more of what has been revealed to me, and using my story to give you all some insights into your own life and help you personally develop in your own journey. I am a firm believer in divine timing, and I do believe that all of this just happens for us. Nothing happens to us. So I'm excited about this channel relaunch. Now let me take you back in time to June of 2020. My boyfriend and I moved into a new home, and a girlfriend of mine came to visit me, and we went out to lunch. And as we were out to lunch, we saw a very peaceful Black Lives Matter protest across the street. And she says to me, let's go join in. Now, my girlfriend is a white female, and she said, let's go join in. And in that moment, I felt some kind of emotion. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but I felt something. But after we were done eating, we went and joined this very peaceful protest. And as we're walking down the street, we're chatting, we're looking around at people, and I'm already starting to feel some kind of emotion. But there was a moment where everyone stopped and got down on our knees, and we had our fist up, and the whole crowd is chanting Black Lives Matter. And I'm chanting along too, my friend's chanting along. And as I'm chanting, I can't even get emotional just thinking about it right now. I was overcome with so much emotion that I could not control myself. I just started sobbing. I was just crying uncontrollably, and my girlfriend was just hugging me, and she's asking me, are you okay? What's going on? And so we went over to sit on a bench nearby, and I looked at her and I said, for the first time, I feel accepted in the Black community. I had never said something like that out loud. It felt weird, it felt uncomfortable, it felt hard to say, and I felt shameful in that moment. How could someone who's Black say something like that? And those are some of the things I want to unpack here on this channel. I want to talk about what it's like growing up, being called an Oreo, and basically being ostracized and being told that you're not Black enough and not feeling accepted by the Black community because they're the ones saying that I'm not Black enough. And so growing up in predominantly white spaces, I was never told I'm not Black enough by a white person. I was always told I'm not Black enough by a Black person. And so for that reason, I never really felt accepted by the Black community. And so in that moment of the protest, I felt one with the Black community. I really felt like our people were hurting. The whole country was hurting, but our people were hurting. My people were hurting. And I felt that. And the murder of George Floyd rocked everybody's world, and it rocked my world in a way that I had no idea that it would have. And not only did his murder lift a veil off of my own eyes, but this protest lifted a veil off of my eyes. And that's where having a white assimilated identity and code switching and talking about these topics became very real to me. And it was just ways that I had been being my whole life, but I never realized that there were names for it. White assimilated, code switching, decolonizing your life, colonization. I had no idea what these terms meant. I was seeing it, but I didn't really know what these terms meant. And I basically started my journey of decolonizing my life, taking off my white assimilated identity, merging myself more into my Blackness, and understanding that as a Black woman, I had a different life than other Black women. And for the most part, I felt very shameful in not having some of the same experiences that other Black women had, and why I always felt like the outsider in my predominantly white school amongst the very few Black kids. And I'll share more of that in future videos, obviously, but I want this channel relaunch to be open to the discussion about these topics and these feelings and how code switching really affects us and our subconscious programming that causes imposter syndrome and doesn't allow us to fully show up. And I know some Black women see code switching as a strength, and we'll get into all that more on this channel. But understanding how the mind works, how the brain works, and when we want to have success and achieve more of that, understanding that this code switching subconscious program that's running in the background when we want to fully show up, how that affects us, and why we're feeling stifled at work if we feel like we can't fully be ourselves. So all of that I want to unpack here on this channel. That protest absolutely changed my life. It rocked my world, and I've been unpacking so much of my own identity, merging myself into my Blackness, as I said. And it's interesting because throughout all these conversations I've been having since June of 2020 up until now, of March 2021, the conversations have been real, they've been raw, and I've been talking a lot about it on Instagram and on my Facebook, but I just knew that it was time for me to come back on here and share with you all my experiences so that my personal growth journey can impact your personal growth journey as well, so we can all have success and achievements together. So welcome back. I am excited to dive in and unpack these topics. If there is something that is on your heart, drop it in the comments. Let me know. I love to unpack this topic with you. I'm so excited to bring you future episodes. One of my goals in 2021 is to develop a sisterhood of Black women. It all starts with personal development, and one of the things I've realized in this past year is personal development for Black women like you and I look a lot different than just reading all the books. There's different kinds of trauma when we're talking about code switching and talking about working in predominantly white spaces and how we have to be and how we think we need to show up and all the things. So bringing together a sisterhood where we are personally developing ourselves so that we can be bigger, we can light that fire that we feel on the inside, and we can finally show it to the world. So I'm excited to create that this year, and I'm excited to bring you my experiences on this channel so that way you can have your own experiences and your own successes in your life. I will see you all in future episodes. Stay tuned.